So recently, Zlatan Ibrahimovic came out saying LeBron should stop being a politician. We're going to listen to what LeBron has to say. Then go on to Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, and old boy Kendrick Perkins. Of course, I'm going to chime in as usual.
On Thursday, AC Milan star Zlatan Ibrahimovic criticized LeBron and other star athletes, saying it was a mistake and doesn't look good when athletes or other famous people get involved in politics. Here's LeBron James responding to those comments.
He was the same guy who said when he was back in Sweden, talking about the same things, because his last name wasn't a certain last name, that he felt like it was some racism going on when he was out on the pitch. I speak from a very educated mind.
Okay, so I have no clue about what this dude did before, so I can't really speak on it. So we'll just have to take LeBron's word for it.
So
Wait, educated mind? What? Educated on what? You already know what rabbit hole he's going down with this one.
I'm kind of the wrong guy to actually go at because I do my homework. I would never.
What homework, LeBron? What homework? Please tell me. Cause you failing right now. You failing your homework right now. I remember there was a time LeBron was asked about the Malcolm X book he was reading, and he was like, like he didn't know what he was talking about.
Shut up about things that's wrong.
That you don't know, that you have no insight on.
I preach about my people
Um,
when I preach about equality,
equality, equality. Um,
social injustice, racism.
social injustice. Racism. Yeah, that's a good one. Racism. Uh,
Systematic voting.
systematic voting. What is systematic voting? Please tell me. Enlighten me. I have no clue what that is.
Voter suppression, things that go on.
Voter suppression. Whose votes are getting suppressed, bro? Honestly, we're not in 1900s, or we're not in the early 1900s anymore.
Our community.
All right, Big Perk joining us now for this discussion. Kendrick, great to have you. Stephen A., I'm going to start with you. Do you like, love, or hate LeBron's rebuttal to Zlatan?
I like it. I don't love it. And the reason why I don't
Of course, Stephen A. likes to take. Anyway, as y'all can see, I don't really like. I'll go first. I don't really like LeBron's take, but it's expected. It's really expected.
love it is that I thought LeBron should have went at him harder. I love the fact that LeBron pointed out his hypocrisy, how this was the same guy who did speak about his name and racist connotations that came along with it, and how he was being prejudiced against in the past. But yet when it
Considering it's two different races, I'm gonna assume there's one big difference they're leaving out. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming there's gonna be a difference they're leaving out.
came to LeBron James and others, he's speaking about how, folks need to speak to sports. I think that what he was saying, he should have been more specific. He was basically trying to say the black athlete should stick to sports. That's how I took it.
Okay. If you think that, you got it, bruh. You got it. Who knows? Maybe he actually is. But on the off chance he isn't, why should an athlete speak on what he doesn't know? He's giving out misinformation or possibly disinformation. There's a big difference between the two.
And essentially, what are you meaning by that? Because you have a lot of people in this world who look at black men and believe, instead of showing them the deference and respect that they've earned and they deserve, and giving them major props for that, as opposed to doing that, they feel like these athletes should be appreciative and should never feel entitled because of what they've earned. And so you do have a lot of folks out in this world that look at black.
Translation: I want that hug. Shout out to Chronicles. Shout out to the Fantastic.
who are particularly influential and incredibly powerful, and they feel they should stay in a certain place. They should be more appreciative as opposed to feeling deserving and things of that nature. And I think this shows that, the kind of prejudice that we're accustomed to experiencing as black men, it doesn't just exist in America. I've had
Prejudice. There goes the victim card again. There's no one stopping you from being great. I don't care what anyone says. Now there are going to be hiccups down the road. Yeah, of course. But that victim mentality isn't going to get you anywhere. Honestly.
the fortune of, particularly with Stephen A's world, of interviewing several people on my show from different other parts of this world, and they talk
If you're smart, Stephen A, you would have made your show on off a different network. You would have had your own brand. I mean, you really do already have your own brand. You would have just had your own business in a way. But Stephen A isn't smart enough to think on that type of level yet. He may not ever reach that level though.
about how the black experience itself is the black experience.
The black experience. Not every black person or so-called black person has the same experience, Stephen A. What are you talking about? Like, are you talking about people from the hood? That's what I'm assuming, but not everyone's from the hood. And some people just get what they deserve, honestly, if I'm being frank with you.
It ain't just in America. It's the world over. And so to me, this is the latest example of that. And I loved how LeBron came back and responded, but I also thought that LeBron was very classy and far too nice compared to what he could have been by an individual that was basically not only telling him to just shut up and play basketball.
I mean, if LeBron doesn't know what he's talking about, it's gonna be harsh, or it's gonna sound harsh. But maybe he should shut up and play basketball. If he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's just misinforming the people that follow him.
He was also an individual that was telling him, you shouldn't be the one doing it, but evidently I could, because when I had an issue, I certainly brought it up, and it didn't have anything to do with the field of play. So it's okay for me to speak on things, but you should know your place. That's
Again, I got no clue on this Latin Ibrahimovic dude, so I can't really speak on it. If he is being hypocritical, hey, it is what it is.
how I took it. I think that's how LeBron James took it. And LeBron handled it with the deference, the class, the decorum that obviously nobody can argue with. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have been a hell of a lot harsher.
I will give LeBron that credit. He was pretty calm throughout that interview. I'll give him credit. As you can see here, Stephen A. Smith said he would have gone full blown emotional. So I like that about LeBron, or at least in this instance.
I love LeBron James's response. You like it, Stephen A., because you think he could have gone harder at Zlatan. I love LeBron's response
Of course, I love anything LeBron does, Max Kellerman.
precisely because he didn't. Because I look, Zlatan's entitled to his opinion, even if we think it's wrongheaded. Now, Stephen A., if you read into it and say, what are you really saying? I get it. But actually, LeBron's measured response, just stating the facts, I think was the most effective possible response. And look what he said. It's on the bottom of the screen. There's no way I would ever just stick to sports. The operative word is because I understand this platform and how powerful my voice is. In other
That's cap. That's big cap. The first part is true. After the because part, he's straight up lying. I guarantee you. Nike comes to him and they say, LeBron, you can't talk about this stuff no more. Or else we ain't paying you. You done. LeBron's gonna shut up. I guarantee you.
words, if you want to talk about a moral responsibility, if you are a member of an oppressed group historically, then LeBron feels it.
Oppressed group historically. I'm tired of hearing this same slave narrative over and over again. Slavery this, slavery that. That's all people know about history.
That's great. That's great that he responded the way he did. He is not making ad hominem attacks at Zlatan, although he points out, hey, look, you were saying kind of similar stuff where you're from, right? Like you were saying, hey, my last name, whatever else, led to behavior toward me that I didn't like. And what's curious, by the way, LeBron could have gone on. I've heard interviews where, one interview in particular, where Zlatan was asked about Muhammad Ali. And immediately, he's like playing word association. Immediately he says, the best, the greatest, my idol. And Zlatan is, loud and he celebrates himself the way Ali did. But if Ali's your idol, it's not just because he bragged a lot. It's because Ali stood up for what he believed in and stood.
I don't know. I mean, like, you never know with some people. You never know why some people like others. But Max Kellerman's kind of right on this. He might be right on this.
For his people and oppression and oppressed groups everywhere, really, by the end of his career. So it is curious that Zlatan has that point of view about Muhammad Ali, had that point of view about himself in.
Okay. I get you're talking about Zlatan, whatever this dude name is. But don't ever compare. I'm not saying Max Kellerman is in this instance, but y'all can't compare Muhammad Ali and LeBron James for what they both did off the court. It's uncomparable.
Europe, but then has this point of view about LeBron. And LeBron's response to me is pitch perfect. I don't think it could be any better. No ad hominem attack, points out a hypocrisy, says, hey, wait a minute, why is that okay for you, but not okay for me? And most importantly,
Yes, LeBron played the race card or the race baiting very well. I like it. Oh
forces
boy.
the idea that he feels a responsibility to do it. Not just that whether, well, I can do it or I should just stay in my lane. No. LeBron.
Why? Why should he not stay in his lane? It's not what he's good at. He's good at hooping. He's the best player on the planet. He has what, 4 rings now? But he wants to do something he's not good at. He's not even a good speaker. Y'all heard all them listen to Jordan speak and then listen to how LeBron speaks. It's just not his lane. It's not.
Saying I have a responsibility given my platform. Pitch perfect, I have to say, as usual by LeBron.
Oh gosh, as usual. Anyways, no, this is where it gets interesting with Perkins.
No, Max, I have to disagree, and that's nonsense. Ain't nothing was pitch perfect about that response. And matter of fact, I hated the response that LeBron James gave, and here's why. He should have.
See, Perkins setting y'all up. You know how AI set up Michael Jordan with the crossover? That's what Perkins doing to y'all. Cause right now it seems like he about to hit a breakthrough. That's what this man says.
Dress Zlatan or whatever his name is, like the numbers on the house, and should have made him smell his cologne in that response. And by me
Pause.
saying that, because it's not about politics. It's not that LeBron James speaks out about politics. He's speaking out about humanity. All right, this is what we
Humanity. Humanity.
talking about humanity. What's going on in the black community these days? That's what LeBron James stands for.
So is it about humanity or the black community? Pick one.
Growing up in Akron, Ohio, coming up really without a father figure in his life. No,
Now whose fault is that? I'm not saying it's LeBron James' fault that he didn't have a father. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm asking, whose fault is that? Who are we putting the blame on? Hey, it's your choice. Y'all decide whose fault it was.
why the purpose why he opened up a I Promise school and
By the way, he did not pay for the school. He didn't. His taxpayers pay for that school. He did not put 1 cent, 1 dime into that school. His name's just on it, and he gets all the credit for it. Just want to let you all know that.
Wanted to provide such great people to help these kids in these black communities,
Such great peoples.
so they could get knowledge, so they could get up out of those communities and be something in life. Because we go through so much that it get overlooked.
We? Kendrick Perkins, you're a retired NBA player. You make millions. Or you made millions. And now you get to go on ESPN First Take every day and talk about stuff you don't know unless it's dealing with sports. And even then, you don't know that much about basketball, which is kind of sad.
Okay, and what I'm not about to sit up here and stand for is no athlete or no other person, especially from another country, tell one of our powerful, iconic figures how to speak up and how to be a black man in America. And
When did he say that? The Ibrahimovic say, LeBron can't be a black man in America. No, he never said that. What are you talking about, Kendrick Perkins?
be a leader in America. I'm not about to tolerate it. And LeBron should have addressed him like the numbers on the house, like I said before. Because look, we deal with so much oppression for over
Oppression. We deal with so much oppression.
400 plus years. You talk
Here we go again. The slave narrative. All over again. We deal with so much oppression. I can't stand it.
you talk about things to nature where father figures are incarcerated for whatever reason.
Oh, um, before we get into the father figures thing, what oppression is LeBron going through at this moment, right now? Right now. I need someone to answer me that. Please, someone answer me that. Right now.
And getting football numbers where they're not there in their children's lives nowadays, and now they need powerful, iconic figures.
Okay. Now, whose fault is that? Someone has to be at blame. You can't play one side and say, oh, it's always the father's fault. Sometimes it may be. Sometimes it may be. But you also got to play it both ways. You never know what the mother could have put the father through to make him want to leave or quit. Just saying.
Just like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, Maya Moore, all these beautiful athletes that have
Pause. You said beautiful athletes. Maya Moore is the only woman. But children shouldn't be idolizing athletes or celebrity figures anyway, if we're being real.
standing on the front line to make sure that these kids get the best opportunity that others are getting around the world. So
Standing on the front lines told me maybe I just don't know. But I've never seen LeBron, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook's my guy. Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade. I've never seen them go up to a highly intelligent kid that possibly could go to scholarship at a young or could go to college at a young age and help fund him. But we focus on the lower levels of the people first. People that really aren't doing anything, if we're being honest. If I know it sounds harsh, but you got to think about it.
I don't want to hear that, man. At the end of the day, to me, I thought it was nonsense for him to lash out at LeBron. I thought he was clout chasing, and LeBron took it too lightly on him.
So
I mean, if he was clout chasing, then LeBron did exactly what he was supposed to do. He didn't give him energy, if we're being honest.
I agree with you. I think LeBron took it too lightly on him. But Max, to get back to what you're saying, Zlatan and how he tried to approach the matter. Listen, he was wrong off the bat. because nobody should, and anybody that has a voice, particularly a voice is intelligent and as even keel and as thoughtful as LeBron.
There's no way you just said LeBron James was intelligent and even keeled. There's no way. There's no way. Stephen A must not know many intelligent people. I'm sorry, LeBron isn't. You can tell by the way he speaks, he's not intelligent. You can tell by his talking points. And then you say even keel. LeBron is 6'9", what, 270, going to the basket, barely getting touched, and flopping. Which I'll give him credit for. He stopped a little bit, but he's still crying over calls. Hey man, come on.
James should speak out on what the hell he wants to speak out about, because he's not coming from a perspective of ignorance and being misinformed or ill-informed about it.
What are you talking about, Stephen A? That's all LeBron does. Every time he speaks, he's coming from ignorance. Every single time.
That's number one. But number two, and more importantly, where this elevates the conversation to another level, is that this guy, this soccer player, okay, he spoke out when he felt like speaking out in terms of what his name connotated and how he felt he was treated because of it. He spoke out. So to me, it really, really resonated because, oh, so it's okay for you to speak when you want to. But this brother right here, who is one of the most accomplished athletes in American history and who's been an activist in some respects, and has been well known and it's been well documented what LeBron is as a businessman, what his contributions have been to his community and beyond, what his contribution has been to America and beyond. Oh, excuse me. He's the
What contribution has LeBron made outside from being an athlete? Okay, the school, which he did not pay for. What else? Someone tell me. What, him making camps for basketball players? I mean, that's cool. That's cool. I'm not dissing him on that. Like you're talking about as America as a whole, what has he done? Maybe I'm ill-informed. Maybe I am.
one that you're going to sit up there and say, oh, excuse me, him nor any of these athletes, they shouldn't be speaking out. They should just be quiet and play.
When they don't know anything, they should. They should, Stephen A. They should. If I if someone needs brain surgery and they come to me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I got you, when I don't know brain surgery. That's essentially what people do when they look for athletes for to give answers on social issues. Because these top athletes practically live in a bubble. They live in the high road. They live in the quote unquote rich life. So hey, they don't know the average struggle or the struggle of an average black man.
didn't do it, it says to me, you were saying,
Well,
listen, you're a black man, you should be appreciative of what you have, shut the hell up, and go on about your business and just play. That to me is how I took what he said. And I don't think a tepid response was called for in that regard. I think it needed to be more formal. I'm not complaining about LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would have been making international headlines today, directed at that dude for taking that position.
Look,
Dang, Stephen A. That dude broke your heart that bad? Like Fuzz, but you shouldn't care that much about someone that's insignificant. If I'm LeBron, I don't care. I'm answering it the same way. Obviously, I'm not gonna put the propaganda LeBron puts in, but if you got LeBron James compared to this soccer player that practically no one knows unless you watch soccer. So there's no reason to give such a lower level person that much energy.
I think you know me, and if I see injustice, and we've done it on this show, I'll go at people. So I agree, there is a time for that. I think in this case, Zlatan is making a slightly different point than you think he's making. And while you may disagree with it, if you react immediately and emotionally to it, you'll never have the conversation. And this is what he's saying.
Before Matt Selman says whatever, how does this get into a racial issue? I thought it was about politics. I heard, or it says Zlatan talks about politics. How does this go to a racial issue again?
What he said specifically is that people should stay in their lane. In this case, he was talking about politics specifically. Now, there's a huge...
Oh, Max Kellerman caught it too. Good job, Max Kellerman. Plus 5 points. But anyway, that's about it for this video. As you can see, LeBron, he's still playing his games, but Perkins, he's talking, not really saying much, but oppression, oppression, slavery, stuff like that. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.